Welcome to the monthly movie marathon, a podcast in which myself, who may you ask? Me, Nick LaBarrow, joined by, who's that over there, over yonder?
It's only Peter Gray.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Rotten Tomatoes certified critic of the AU Review and other outlets.
Oh, stop your face.
We're here today for this podcast, which we normally marathon movies in a monthly capacity format.
Whatever.
We're still working out the technicalities of our catchphrase or our slogan or our identity.
It's only taken about 2 years. That's fun.
So yes, normally in a monthly capacity we marathon movies.
Monthly.
But twist.
Plot twist.
Just like we flipped the script and shook the pot.
Just as we shook the pot.
Throwback to our last episode.
And flipped the script and didn't say the thing that we both...
But I think everyone watching knew what we were saying.
I'm very glad it wasn't picked up on the audio.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
So last year...
Yes.
We did an episode where we asked each other questions.
Yes.
Some of you lovely people out there asked us questions, and we basically revealed a lot about ourselves.
We revealed ourselves.
Some things
in a completely legal way.
Some things were for fun.
Yep.
Some things were
personal.
There were things that were kind of a little bit crazy.
Yep. Movie related. Personal related.
And we thought...
Bit of this, bit of that.
And we thought, let's do it again.
Because we had a lot of fun doing it.
We did.
It's been almost a year since we did the last one, but we figured mid-year is a good point. We have a bit of time between our last episode, which was our Disney live-action adaptation ranking for The Little Mermaid. Thank you for those who've watched it, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts.
All the podcasts.
But thank you all for your support, as always.
All the
and our next episode, which as we revealed at the end of that episode, which is going to be Indiana Jones, leading up to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which we can talk about, has premiered at the Cannes Film Festival.
Cannes Film Festival, and we'll be playing as the final closing night movie of the Sydney Film Festival.
Yes, indeed.
We will be attending the Sydney Film Festival. Unfortunately, not the last weekend.
Not for that film.
We are choosing the first weekend, but a banger of a weekend that'll be.
It's a pretty fucking great lineup
4 days
movies that weekend.
And about 12 films?
We're doing 12. You're doing 12, I'm doing 11.
11, there you go. So
just because my flight gets in a little bit later.
That'll be fun.
So that's going to be exciting. So Indiana Jones reviews have started dribbling out, but, you know, yikes.
Yeah.
It's probably an appropriate word.
It's kind of like maybe you shouldn't have...
They were
clearly confident. But you know what?
Hey.
But also that's Cannes reviewers.
That's, it's true. Like,
so
there's a certain level of, you would argue there's potentially a certain level of caliber of film that would get critically renowned at Cannes, Cannes Film Festival. So the Cannes Film Festival. So we're still holding on to a bit of hope. No, not hope, but I'm still curious.
Yeah, I grew up with the original trilogy.
Yep, totally.
There was that fourth movie that was
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I remember seeing in cinemas and remember not enjoying.
Yeah, I'm curious to rewatch that one. I'm just kind of generally interested in Indiana Jones. I have no strong feelings.
Like nostalgic connection to it or anything like it. And I think that might help to an extent. Yeah. But we'll find out in late June.
A couple of weeks.
When the episode drops, when we rewatch and marathon, I guess, which makes sense.
We will marathon the 4 Indiana Jones movies over the course of half the month.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
really?
Actually, ultimately, totally. So, but in the interim for the mid-year special, I guess you could say, Q&A time.
Q&A time.
We did have a lot of fun doing this last time. And we asked for your questions, and you guys sent in a shitload of questions.
Some very interesting questions.
But hey, you know what? We're interesting people. You're interesting people. Let's get fucking weird together.
It's like, let's get interesting.
Well, let's get interesting and let's get weird. Some questions now, if you don't necessarily hear yours read out, it's because some questions were double ups or two questions may have seemed like real similar.
Yeah.
So we've kind of put them together.
I'm going to prove it. I don't have names for the attached to the question.
No.
So if you hear it, you'll know it's you.
You'll know it's you. You'll know
and
you
if you didn't hear it,
there's just a lot to get through.
there's a lot to get through.
Which is great. That's
what we love. We're like, hey, people are actually interested.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
But let's crack into the Q&A special. And I thought we'd start on a bit of a wholesome question.
Wholesome note.
Ish wholesome. But for those maybe tuning in for the first time, don't know who we are, we can sort of let you know who we are through this question.
Indeed.
Which is Peter Gray.
Yes.
How did we both meet and quotes become besties?
I'd like to think that we are.
I think we are very good friends. We are very good friends.
Well,
very good business partners, but very good friends.
That's very nice. Look, I'd like to think this is going to be
two sides to every story.
But
Peter
basically, look, I have been reviewing for.
Don't go showing your age.
No, I've you know what? People know that I'm old. It's fine. I've been reviewing for 13 years.
Yeah, wow. And I've been alive for 14.
Yeah. So I've been reviewing for 13 years, and obviously it did take me a bit of time to really, I guess, get my name going.
Yeah, totally.
Get things moving. But by the time I had seen a few little likes, a few little comments, maybe a DM or two.
Maybe a sliding on in.
This fine gentleman.
The old nicksflicksfix.
Who, and look, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, he slid into his DMs. It wasn't remotely creepy. It wasn't remotely sexual.
No matter how hard I tried to be creepy, it wasn't creepy enough.
And I'm the eternal optimist.
Which might be both of our flaws.
And sometimes I was like, oh my God, a straight guy DMing me?
Yeah, it's the dream. It's the dream.
It's the dream. Then he was like, oh, he actually wants to know shit. All right. No, so Nick kind of DM'd me from what I was just sort of generally just curious.
Yeah, just
sort of
chatting.
Hey man, how did you get into this?
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to do. So by that point, Nick had been doing reviews.
Yeah, not for a long time,
but hadn't been doing it in a.
It was definitely more
capacity.
Of a hobby.
It was a hobby
more than what we're doing now.
Yeah, but Nick wanted to get to. Look, without me, I one-upping myself. Essentially, kind of getting to where I.
Yeah, totally. Oh, got it. 100%. Absolutely.
And yeah, so I basically kind of just told him what I and this wasn't what I had learned. This was just me as a decent person being like, hey, if you get invited to something, say thank you.
Yeah.
The reps don't always get thanked.
Get to know them.
Get to know the reps. Look, Brisbane reps.
Unreal.
Fucking incredible people.
Next level people. Super nice people.
So I said, just get to know them. Just talk to them because it's like this. Yes, this is a business, but they are people.
Yeah.
So get to just show an interest.
And being in Brisbane too, as opposed to Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
It is very much more relationship based. It's still relationship based down there, but it's less it's less about who you work for.
Yeah.
And more about are you a good person?
Yes.
Do you do the work?
Do you do the work? Yeah.
Which was another one of the big things you said. You're like, if you get a review, if you get a screener, do the fucking review, do everything.
Yeah. So I just, and then
on time.
Yes.
On time.
So then I was doing a competition, I think, for
Detective Pikachu.
No,
you weren't. No.
I had
an
extra ticket.
It was an extra ticket because it was
an admit 4.
Sometimes for family films they do admit 4s.
So I had an extra 2 tickets. Nick messaged me and was like, "Hey, can I?"
quickly slid into those DMs.
He was like, "Can I take those tickets?" I said, "By all means." And it was also like, it'd be really cool to actually meet you.
Yeah, totally.
So we actually didn't meet. We didn't meet until the end of the screening.
No, we met beforehand.
Did we?
Yeah. No, I'll take over from here. No, we did. No, we did.
I'm old. I don't remember.
No, that's literally exactly how it happened. I was like just up and coming Detective Pikachu, and we did meet before the screening because we were in the queue together.
Right.
We did the photo wall. Like I took a photo of you and Wing. You took a photo of me. But we didn't sit together in the cinema.
I think that's what I'm. Because I was like, I didn't sit with you.
We didn't sit together in the cinema. But before the movie, you did come up to me to be like, "Oh, it's so nice." You did. You walked on over, and you were like, "It's."
Past Pete was so nice.
Yeah, I was like, "What happened?" No,
legit.
To both of us. And you came up to me and you were like, okay, so like, you know, what are you looking to? Because you kind of already knew at this point. You're like, oh, he's not just here because he likes Pikachu or Pokemon. He doesn't want to just watch it. So he's like, like, what are you hoping to do? And like, what are you doing at the moment? We were like just chatting about it. And we briefly saw each other after the screening. But obviously we could just continue talking. And then the next time
next time was Aladdin. So I had gotten the invite to Aladdin and I actually messaged Nick and was like, hey, I've got the invite to Aladdin. I've got a +1. Do you want to be my +1? This will also be a great way for me to introduce you to the Disney reps who I absolutely adore.
Yeah. Very get along with them very well.
And then that kind of and the thing is, I don't really know. Like you obviously you did meet up with them, and then you kind of then
ran free. And that's the thing I think I will say, because this isn't the question, but like if anyone was to ask, how do you get into it at the moment? It's that don't just rely on other people to do it for you, because by all means, Pete 100% opened the door for me to put my foot in. Absolutely. And I will always be thankful for that. But at the same time, behind the scenes,
at the same time, Nick has.
I was aggressively emailing and DMing
Nick
people.
has absolutely put in the work. Like
I was being to a point pestering of being like, oh, is there any tickets left for this screening? Like if I knew screenings were coming up and stuff.
Yeah.
But it it took a little while to get on some people's lists, but probably over the course, I would say from meeting you and going to that first screening to maybe like 4 or 5 months later, I was pretty much on every list.
That's a bloody quick turn.
And I was very happy with that. But like we said before, I was, and still to this day, screening, go home, review, up. Unless there's an embargo, screening, go home, review up.
Yeah.
Sending them, tagging when appropriate, emailing, saying thank you for the screening, thank you so much for the invite, here's my review, here's my quick thoughts, always in constant communication.
Yeah.
And like Pete said, just being like talking to them at this, like the reps at the screenings.
Yeah.
It's super easy to,
because like, you'll see them and like if you're lucky enough to, if you follow them on like socials or that sort of like, if you're able to just sort of be like, oh, how was that trip? Or I saw,
totally.
just and it's like, you don't have to be, and like, don't be fake.
Don't be fake about it. Absolutely. Don't be fake about it.
And if you want to keep it to be just quite professional, by all means.
Oh God, yeah.
But
no, totally. We're not. Like, we're not getting invited to like their family birthdays and stuff. But it's a very, very upbeat professional relationship. Yeah. It's like a personal professional relationship.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to be invited to like their houses for things.
Yeah, totally. Oh, but that's not, but you've been in it long enough to be like, yeah, totally.
But yeah, and I wasn't aware that thanking them was this like
almost forbidden thing.
Yeah.
It's like well, I'm the critic, you should show me the movie. I
started doing it because I was just like, I was invited to something. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm very thankful for this invite.
Totally.
I will say thank you. And I didn't realize that it's actually not that common a practice.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it was kind of like when I met them in person, they'd be like, you thanked us. And I was like, oh, was I not meant to?
Am I not supposed to say thank you in this community?
So, and I think that's, and again, I was like that, and that in some ways that helped me and Nick be in the forefront as much as it is, because it's like, hey, these guys are like, they're just nice guys, but also
do the work.
We do the work.
Do the work. And that's the thing. That's the thing you got to do the work.
And we've seen that doing that and doing the work and the way that it has been paying off.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Pretty great.
But then, we did Aladdin, and then by the point where I was getting on other lists, like, getting the invites myself and whatnot, We were seeing each other at screenings.
Yeah.
Just being generally like friendly with each other. We still talk to each other online.
Yeah.
A fair bit. Then I think one of the biggest turning points to give credit for was the 10 years on podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
Where weekly we were doing a podcast with Jacob and Taylor.
Yep.
And we were reviewing movies 10 years ago, and obviously the pandemic was just starting. So like, we were watching a lot of movies and we were recording a lot of episodes, but we started hanging out a lot more. That's the thing. Like, and that kind of just like kept going. We were, becoming better friends as well as trying to, and I think we were both, I think why we clicked very well, why we still click very well, is we're very like-minded, not just in our approach to how we do things, but how we approach things as well, and sort of go, oh, hey, have you heard about this? Like, oh, what would I do? We still go to each other for advice on things, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, like it'll be like, there might be...
I think we trust each other very,
like
very
there might be like
so.
a question that you're like, I know that there's been like a question that I'm like, this is what I want to ask. And then I'll write it down and be like, hey, does this sound good?
For like interviews and stuff.
And then Nick might go, yeah, I get what you're trying to do. And then he might say, ask it this way. And I'm like, oh. Yeah,
and that's vice versa.
Perfect.
That's vice versa. That absolutely goes both ways.
But yeah, and then the 10 years on. And then also Nick invited me into the trivia
Oh yeah, God,
group,
yeah, absolutely.
Which I also think the
trivia team,
so it was also like that. But
it was outside. It was one of those first things outside of a film capacity as well. But yeah, we have a trivia team.
But and we've and then obviously we've got and then so Sydney Film Festival. We've
travelled together. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, we'll be travelling to overseas somewhere soon.
Fingers crossed, indeed.
Crossed.
And that's the thing. I think in a professional capacity, we obviously both have very similar goals. We both can. Yeah. We both have been. What's the word? We've been accountable for each other doing our shit.
Yeah.
But we have also spent a long time together. As well. That friendship has grown out of that,
and it's also like
a genuine friendship.
And we're also at the point now where it's like we wouldn't be doing a lot of this shit if we will just like look. I can tolerate him at screenings. Like, I don't want to hang out. Like, we wouldn't be doing this.
No, totally. Absolutely not. No.
But I also think the potential overseas trip could be like a really good test for some things.
Oh, totally.
But at the same time, I also think...
I think we'll be fine.
I think we'll be fine because I was like, because we're
doing what we love.
We're doing what we love. We'll be...
Which helps.
Championing each other on for stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can survive a 14-hour plane ride. We'll be fine.
Here's the other thing, and this is something that we have definitely seen within the entire critic community, both Brisbane, Australia-wide and worldwide as well. And this is something we don't do to each other. I'm very glad we don't. Jealousy. Yeah. It's a big part of if you get an opportunity that someone else doesn't, and you aren't supportive of that person, that's how you get shut out real quick. And that's the thing. Like Pete has worked so much longer and harder than I have at a lot of the aspects of this, which is why he gets so many opportunities. It makes sense. But every time they come through, I'm like, fuck yeah, Pete.
And the same thing. There was one thing that we were both up for, and Nick got it.
Yeah.
And I
didn't. At this point, that was the Northman. The Northman, yeah. I got to do interviews for the Northman.
We both put forward for that. And it was kind of a case of like, you're both going to get it. And then for some reason, Nick was chosen, I wasn't. And you can be disappointed and be like, and then be like, fuck, that's weird. And, and the reps will be like, we don't understand either.
No, but that's just the game.
But it's a case of like, as Nick said,
nothing Pete did. It's just.
But then it's also, I'm just like, fuck, Nick gets to talk to fucking Robert Eggers and Alexander Skarsgård. I was like, that's fucking cool.
And it's awesome. And then it literally has just happened recently. And I feel like
you can talk about it.
By the time this episode comes out, we can talk about it. Yeah. We were both put forward for The Flash. Yeah. To interview Andy Muschietti, I believe, and his wife Barbara, and Sasha Calais, I believe, who plays Supergirl. Yeah, and that would almost seem like a sure thing. And
we were told about.
I was booked in for a screening for it, and then 2 days before the screening happened, it was sorry, Nick, Novastream didn't get approved. Yeah, nothing you've done. And I was disappointed, but then Pete got to go watch The Flash and he gets to go do interviews for The Flash.
And I got to interview Sasha Calais.
And I don't. And that's just how it is. And that's fine. Like, I'm disappointed, but I'm not also angry that Pete got it. Whereas there definitely will be people in the whole critic sphere all over the world who'll be like, oh, that's bullshit, man. I didn't get it, man. I should totally get it. It's like, that's just the game.
Yeah.
And if you let those things get you down, which is where Pete and I are really good, is like, well, no, let's just think about how we can just make it a guarantee.
And also,
time.
it's a case of like...
And we do hold each other accountable for that, which is
also,
good.
But I think some people who, for lack of a better word, crack the shits.
Yes.
You also just want to go... Are you doing the work?
Are you doing enough to totally.
You know?
Totally. And that's sorry. And I should also preface by saying, or not preface, but just reiterate by saying, just because we don't get one thing doesn't mean we're not grateful for the multitudes of other interviews. That's what I was about to say.
It's a case of like,
holy shit.
We're getting, if there's 10 opportunities, we're getting 9 of them.
Yeah, totally. And I'm thankful all the time for those.
It's better for us to be in the case of we were put forward for that 10th opportunity.
Totally.
And that's an opportunity that not everybody else is getting.
No.
And you know what? We didn't get it, but as we both know, it's nothing to do with it. They haven't gone, it's like for something like The Flash or The Northman, they probably just look at it and just go,
there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. They go, what's each website's like sort of
demographic
and you can't, and it's completely out of
our hands. Control. Yeah, totally.
But we do feel very, I mean, it's probably definitely one thing we can be probably quite confident / cocky about. Yeah. That we're really fucking good at what we do.
Yeah.
Like we've been in rooms and seen interviews and we're like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And we've had international reps comment on what you do. We've had the fucking actors like call us out
feedback
for
and
it.
the stuff. Yeah, well, that was actually
call
cool.
us out in terms of but like, you know, so it's like we
in
know
a room of people
they've gone
talked about us.
So we know what we're doing is amazing.
And it's awesome, and we're so happy. And that's why I think to bring it back to the question.
Yeah. We've almost covered another question.
We became besties because we are so like-minded in that we're very much the same personality type. We're very much driven in the same way. Because I think we both know how to work hard and play hard.
Yes.
And
having a straight white male friend who's like into sports, I'm like, gives me so much clout because it's like,
it's true actually.
Because it's also just like I was like,
and having a gay friend gives me so much clout. Yeah, actually, it's a good point. It's a great point. But I think that at the end of the day is that like we work hard, we play hard, but we can be honest with each other when we're down about something as well.
Oh, I can definitely say there was a period of time that I was going through some shit, and I messaged Nick and was like. And I even I prefaced it by saying, look, I don't want to get all fucking emotional right now. But I was like,
I'm straight and white, Pete. I don't know what emotions are.
And I messaged him and told him like, you're a big reason of why I got through a certain period of my life.
Yeah, totally. So yeah. That's why we're besties.
We're not. So basically, anytime we're on doing this, and we're laughing and we're giving each other shit.
That's us.
Like it's us.
That's
like
just
we're
us.
Like you can't. Like we wouldn't be able to. Like if we genuinely didn't like each other, we wouldn't be doing this.
I don't think you.
But
if
we were like, let's just do the podcast anyway, you would know.
I think you can tell.
Yeah,
I think you can absolutely tell. Yeah. So thank you for the question.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have. No. Next question. Easy one. Going to the cinema or watching movies at home?
Going to the cinema.
Going to the cinema. I was thinking about this today, though, and I was like, we are in a very fortunate position where probably 50% of the movies we watch are just us in a cinema.
I'm the same. Like, I feel privileged because
I was at a screening today where there was 5 people.
Yeah,
like,
I saw the Flash by myself.
By yourself. Like,
so... Yes, we get to be in a position where we get to go to we see the movies in the cinema. A lot of the times it's either Nick and I, it's either a very small crowd.
Or it's a media screening. Where they take phones
off you.
But tell people to shut up.
And you know what? Look, and I love watching movies at home.
Totally, yeah.
But
I don't feel like going to the movies every day.
But as someone also who grew up going to the movies weekly, I love seeing things on the big screen. Totally. The way that movies were meant to be seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, audiences can be really fucking shit.
Yep.
But I can't. Movies is my first love.
Yeah.
And cinema is part of that.
I'll never part with it because of external factors.
Yeah, and I don't like where streaming is going, but it's to me.
There's a lot of pros and cons with streaming at the moment. Streaming is making movies that we probably wouldn't see if there wasn't streaming.
Yeah,
but they're also making movies that I'd rather see on the big screen.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Going to the cinema for me, 100%.
100%, easy. What's your favorite movie of all time? I think we may have covered this.
Seeing this one.
Oh, well, it's on the fucking list, Pete.
There you
go. Mine's The Departed. Martin Scorsese's The Departed. It's easily my favorite film of all time.
I feel like maybe Batman Returns, just because of what it did to me and what it introduced me to.
Where on you did this DVD touch you?
There are two other movies that are up there, which would be Death Becomes Her. Oh yes, and Scream.
Yeah.
But Batman Returns is kind of the one that I return to.
Sorry for whistling in the microphone. Easy. Okay, so this was two questions we've sort of molded into one. So
so also these questions came to me like back to back by two different people, and I was like, all right.
What's the conspiracy theory going on there? How would you rank the 6 actors who've played Bond from best to worst? Now, I'm going to flip it. I want to go from worst to best.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to build up
worst
from there.
Best.
So should we go our 6?
Yep.
Back and forth? Okay. So you go, who's your worst
My
Bond?
6 was George Lazenby.
My 6 was George Lazenby as well.
This might be controversial. My 5th was Roger Moore.
Oh, mine was Timothy Dalton. Okay, sorry. I should have prefaced by saying this. I only like the Daniel Craig Bonds.
Okay.
I haven't seen all of them, but the ones I've seen of the pre-Daniel Craig Bonds, I just don't like.
See, I've grown up with the Bond movies. So
my ranking from my now obvious number one answer is very much just like whose movies I tolerated the most. I know that's probably slander for a lot of people, but I just can't get into James Bond. Dalton was my number 5.
So Roger Moore, and look, I'm saying Roger Moore just because. And this isn't a case of it's not that I don't think Roger Moore is a good James Bond.
Yeah.
It's just a case of I think he plays it very cheeky,
like coy,
a bit too on the nose, just because that's of the time,
right? Totally,
all of the double,
Connery had already done it seriously, and then
all of the suggestive names and everything,
totally.
So he's my number 5. My number 4 is Timothy Dalton.
Okay, then my number 4 is Moore, right? Roger Moore.
My number 3 is Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, my number 3 is Connery. Mainly again because then my number 2 being Brosnan is the ones that I grew up watching: GoldenEye, Die Another Day.
Yes. Mine number 3 Brosnan because I'm like he was a great James Bond.
Yeah.
But also probably just the history of me watching the movies.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And also there are some Pierce Brosnan movies that I don't like.
Oh yeah, which is Tomorrow Never Dies. World Is Not Enough.
World Is Not Enough.
World Is Not Enough. Is that the one with Denise Richards? Yeah.
And Die Another Day, I'm like, it's a bit much.
So for I don't know,
it's like the surfing,
Rhiannon,
the ice thing.
Oh, that's right. Rhiannon and I went through a weird phase where we did watch Die Another Day for some reason one day, but the reason we said is because of the Madonna song.
Yeah.
So we would just start doing that to each other. She's like, I'm gonna wake up. Yes and no. We just scream that at each other. So we have a fondness for Die Another Day, but probably not for the right reasons.
I like Die Another Day because I was like, it was the movie that introduced me to Rosamund Pike.
Oh yeah,
I was like watching it, going, "Oh, you're gonna be
something one day."
And then it had really hot Asian villain Rick Yoon.
Oh yeah, and he's fucked in that movie too. Yeah, he's
and also,
good
and he
in
had
that.
and he had Fast and the Furious, and I was like, I'm
that's right,
so fucking wet. My number 2 is Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Do you have a favorite Connery performance? Is it hard? Like Dr. No is just like the one.
It's hard.
But he's good. But he's iconic. He's iconic.
Yeah. And
then obviously
Daniel Craig.
Which
I genuinely think his movies are incredible, and I think
so too.
Really, really good.
For someone who doesn't like James Bond that much as well.
He does it really well.
But for me as well, I'm like, I really only like Casino Royale and Skyfall. I'm not a fan of the other three. So maybe I just don't.
No, I mean, I agree. Casino Royale and Skyfall are like top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, they're top tier Bond
the
films.
best Bond.
They're genuinely great action
Oh,
films
God, yeah,
as
absolutely.
well.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, you know, Quantum of Solace suffered because of
the writer's strike. Spectre was just shit.
Spectre had a great opening.
Yeah, true.
And
I thought No Time to Die was disappointing.
I was like, No Time to Die. I was like, man, we just needed more Ana de Armas.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I know. God,
So, yeah,
I love her.
that's my 6.
There we go.
So, we're relatively
proved very similar.
Yeah.
But then the follow-up to that was like, who would you like to see play Bonds next?
Yeah. So this one I had a few because I went with traditionally,
Yep.
who I feel like
Fits the mold of Bond.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. And Mission Impossible Fallout was like almost his
But like
audition
Man
for
from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, God, yeah, Man from U.N.C.L.E. too, yeah. Underrated fucking movie.
Right?
That's a great fucking
like
movie.
Don't let Armie Hammer being in that sway you. It's a great movie. So him.
Yep.
Next to that, Idris Elba.
I'm on an Idris Elba train. Yeah, yep, totally.
I think he'd be fucking incredible.
Yep.
He did a movie called Bastille Day, which
I love
to
that
me
dude.
is
I love
like,
Bastille Day.
is almost like an audition for Bond.
And it is so much fun. Who else was?
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden, that's
Great
right.
fucking movie.
Great movie. So underrated.
And then because I would love to see Bond fans fucking shit a fit, Maggie Q or Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron did have Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can see it. Maggie Q, I can see that as well.
Obviously, I watched The Protege again,
Oh,
and
of
I was
course,
like,
yeah.
she's so good in that.
I haven't seen The Protege yet. I do need to
And
watch
obviously Mission Impossible 3, she's in that. She's great.
Dude, Mission Impossible 3, underrated.
And she did La Femme Nikita, the TV series.
Oh, my, yeah, wow. So she's action
So
background's hot and heavy there.
And I'd love to see people just like flip out that they've got a female James Bond.
My pick,
Yeah.
Harris Dickinson.
Ooh.
I think Harris Dickinson could do it.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him do action yet. Would love to see him do a little bit of
Kingsman.
action. Good point.
Sort
Good
of.
point. Sort of.
Sort of.
I would say he was less of a
He was less
action
of
man
action
and more
and
of the what am I doing here?
emotional, yeah.
But he was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Great actor. He's young, so if they're looking for that
Yeah.
younger Bond that they keep saying they're looking
Yeah.
for, I reckon give Harris
Do
Dickinson a shot.
you like the suggestion that they were going for
Aaron Taylor Johnson? No, yeah, absolutely. Because I love Aaron Taylor Johnson,
He's
but
so fucking hot.
but I've liked him more in his more comedic things like Bullet Train and Kick-Ass and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Nocturnal Animals?
Oh, actually, that's a good point. But then, like that, you don't need that darkness for Bond.
No. But I'm just saying
but
in
he's-
general,
he's
so
incredible
good.
actor.
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train is so much
good.
fun.
Bullet Train.
Yeah, I reckon Harris
Yeah.
Dickinson should get a
Yeah,
shot.
I like it. I like it.
Alrighty, good
All right.
questions. Good
Yeah.
questions. Moving on, if
Yeah.
you could have any movie character as your blank, who would they be? First one is mum. Who would you want your movie character mum to be?
All right, so my mum and dad are from the same movie.
Okay, no, cool. Yeah.
And these were like the immediate people I thought of.
Yeah.
Patricia Clarkson and Stanley Tucci from Easy A.
Okay. So Patricia Clarkson from Easy A was coming up for me I'm like,
Because
that's great though.
They're so they're funny, they're supportive.
Yep.
They don't care if you're gay.
No,
It's also
Progressive 2010 parent.
it's Stanley Tucci and
It's
Patricia
I know.
Clarkson.
I know.
Like
and that movie's hilarious.
it's such a good
It's
movie.
a great movie.
So
Okay.
they were and they were like the only people that I was like, nah. Like
Yeah.
I obviously there were other people that I thought of. I was like, and I went with the route of like, okay, gay characters who had really great parents, and I was also like Josh Duhamel, Jennifer Garner from Love Simon.
Yeah, totally.
But no, I was like, nah, Tucci and Clarkson, top.
Well, mine are not from the same film.
Okay,
And they
Which
are
is good.
completely polar opposite
I know,
sort of
that's good.
parents.
It's good.
This might be a little cliche,
Mm.
but I would love my mum to be Sarah Connor.
Cool.
I just think it'd be fucking cool.
No, yeah.
Imagine if I was John Connor.
She would protect the shit out of you.
I'm safe for
You're
life.
actually safe, yeah.
She's a
until
badass.
until you get to like
Until I get to Terminator Dark Fate and get blasted by a shotgun on a beach. But hey, that's
you
on her.
You lived a good life.
I lived a great life until that point, all 14 years of it.
But then also,
But she's awesome. Like,
but also, regardless if you had Sarah Connor badass,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she's not Sarah Connor badass, she's like a really cool.
she's actually just a
person.
cool mum.
Yeah.
Like everyone forgets the beginning of Terminator.
Yeah, she's like
just
Terminator 2 is where she's psychos. Terminator 1, she's like
go to the arcade, Johnny,
Yeah,
and
like-
ride your bikes. It's
yeah.
fun.
yeah, that's
Sarah
cool.
Connor.
I like it.
My
Daddy,
dad is going to be J.K. Simmons when he's in Juno as Mac.
Oh,
Just the most like similar to how you said about Stanley Tucci. Just as soon as Movie Dad came up, I was like, J.K. Simmons in Juno.
Yes.
Before he turns into Whiplash,
Yeah. Yeah, when you said J.K. Simmons, I was like, this could go somewhere. Oh, that's...
I love him in that film.
No.
So he is just
also, see Juno.
Juno's fantastic.
So fucking
brilliant.
good.
But like, as he finds out Juno's pregnant and stuff, he is equal amounts protective dad and supportive dad. He's not necessarily over the moon that his daughter's pregnant, but he's like, okay, I know what I need to. And he's just funny. He's funny as fuck in that movie.
So good. Yes.
Super funny.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so movie mum and dads. What about who would you want your best friend to be?
Okay, so I was like looking at all the movies I've seen and be like, who do I? And then, but this one, and you know what? It's recent, so it's But I looked at it as I would get along with this person so well.
Yep.
Mindy from Scream.
Oh my god! You totally
Jasmine Savoy
Brown.
I mean, she's a movie fan.
But you guys have like the same demeanor, the same. I get it. I totally get it.
I feel like we would click.
I totally fucking get that.
Yeah.
God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I cheated on this one a little bit.
Okay.
I went a TV show.
No,
I went a TV show.
We'll allow it. It's our fucking show. We can do it.
I can do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
No, I did go a TV show. Because, and this is a TV show that I have seen before, but recently just did a full rewatch of the entire series.
Right.
And just saw so much of myself in this person. And I went Jim from The Office. John Krasinski. I would love to be his best friend.
Yeah.
It just like, because the thing is, and this is where it clicked for me. Yeah. And this is sort of a delve into how my mind works.
Right. Yeah.
It is the saddest seasons of The Office, but when he actually leaves, spoiler alert, when he leaves Dunder Mifflin,
just in case you haven't seen it,
to start his sport management thing, there was a part of me that really related to the fact of like wanting to pursue something you love to do so heavily.
Yeah.
That like it had me reflect on things. I'm like, oh my God, like there's things I need to think about too in regards to relationships and finances and things like that. Like I'm kind of like Jim a little bit. I wanted to go head first into a lot of stuff. Yeah. But sometimes you need to take a step back. And then just watching Jim's arc, I'm like, God, man, he'd be a good friend to have.
He would be a good friend.
His pranks are hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't mind a fun prank or two.
Yeah.
So it's a cheat answer because it's a TV show, but Jim from The Office.
But also it's John Krasinski.
It's John fucking Krasinski.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Final one.
Look at us now.
Look at us. Who would you want your love interest to be?
So this one,
I'm very intrigued by this one.
I was like, look, I've got two.
Yeah.
One because the character is gay.
Okay. Yeah.
But another one, if I was like able to just have someone, regardless of this, like if this character happened to be gay.
Totally. Yeah.
So the one that is gay.
Yeah.
And when you realize the actor it's played by, you'll be like, of course. So if I say the character name, you probably won't know it. But the character's name is Elliot Wilhelm.
No.
And
I don't know.
It's because he's a gay Samoan bodyguard from Be Cool. So it's Dwayne Johnson from Be Cool.
Right.
So
okay.
He's an aspiring like actor, singer, model.
Yeah.
But I looked at it as I would have a hot gay Samoan bodyguard boyfriend who looks like The Rock before like he's
totally fair.
And like The Rock when he was like big but not like big.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But if I was able to just have anyone.
Yeah.
Nick Young from Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my God.
Because it's Henry Golding.
It's Henry fucking Golding.
Also, he's crazy rich.
It's in the title.
And he's like, but he's also like super, super sweet.
Super sweet, super nice.
Yeah.
And Henry Golding's a good looking fella.
Oh, he's fucking handsome.
He's a very good looking fella.
So those were my two.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've cheated again.
If you say Pam. I said Pam.
Dude. It's Pam. Because.
Oh, so Pam from The Office.
Pam from The Office.
Oh, man. Jim's going to be so pissed at you.
But in this situation, I'm Jim, so that's okay. It's okay. I've rewritten history.
Right, okay.
No, it's the greatest love story of all time.
It is.
It is genuinely the greatest love story of all time.
Is.
And Pete, you probably don't know this about me, and you've seen how I interact with Rhiannon. I'm a romantic.
He is. Oh, the conversations that were being had before. Fucking hell. I'm sitting there being like, guys, stop.
Stop being so cute.
Oh my God.
I think at one point I said, "What's going on, brah?" and like gave her a handshake and a fist bump.
high five.
No, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it is just I would think I would just want just a sweet romance because Jim and Pam call each other out in their shit too.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is very much like Rihanna to me.
Yeah.
But it's an endless love for each other. And it's real. That's
It is
the thing.
real.
Like
It is
when
real.
I read Love Interest, I was like, because there's a couple of questions later on where there will be different answers to Pam. I'll say that much for free. Not knocking Pam.
Oh, no, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Not
No.
knocking Pam.
Oh, and my answers are different. Yeah.
But as a love interest,
as I think about it, as a character that you could be like, I am having a relationship with this character.
yeah, it would be Pam from The Office.
Yeah.
I think
nice.
that's it.
Very, very nice.
So there's that. Moving on.
Yeah.
What was the best first time watch that movie that you've watched this year that wasn't a 2023 release? So best first time watch that's not a 2023 release this year.
I realized I've watched a lot of first time watches this year, but they're all like 2023 because I did like Sundance, I did South by, I've now just started Tribeca, so I'm seeing a lot of things for the very first time that are this year. But then I was like, there was one movie that I watched this year that I'd never seen before.
Yep.
And it's not a pleasant film in any way. I understand why it garnered so much controversy when it came out, but I watched it and I was like, I actually think this is a fucking great movie. So it's a movie called Happiness by Todd Solondz.
Yes, I've heard of this. With Dylan Baker. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Lara Flynn Boyle, Jane Addams.
I have never seen this, but I know of it.
Yeah. So it's got some
pretty heavy themes.
Yeah. Dylan Baker especially.
Yes. Yes, I have read about this. But I've heard it's incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And and you know what? It's really fucking funny.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
But
that's how they get you.
Dark.
Yeah, dark as
And it's
fuck.
like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but I am. And look, Happiness is the most ironic fucking title for it.
Yeah.
It's basically about three sisters, and the film sort of cuts in between what's happening on. And like one sister is played by Lara Flynn Boyle, and she's like this like narcissistic writer who's like, everybody wants to fuck me. Do you know how hard it is when everyone wants to fuck you? And Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Wait a second, I'm a writer.
Right?
Why does no one want to fuck me? No.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman like calls her, and basically because he's like this quite meek kind of person, and he lives.
Also, I always get so sad when I remember he's dead. Hey, fuck, I love Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He lives in the same building as her, and she just completely ignores him because it's like he looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And he like calls her and is basically like says the most obscene shit to her.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like
into it.
She's into it, and she's like, "Go on, do it." And he kind of goes, "Huh," and doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like into it, but doesn't know who it is.
Right.
And then his storyline is that he's kind of Cameron Manheim is like in love with him, and she's trying to always get with him, and then she tells him this really fucked up story about what happened with her, and but the stuff with Dylan Baker is genuinely
very
disturbing.
confronting.
It's to do with like pedophilia, and it doesn't pull any like it's not.
You don't see anything.
It's not graphic. What he describes,
I've heard those scenes are pretty fucked.
And when he's basically just being completely on, like his son. So I won't go with it, but his son, like Dylan Baker.
His son calls him out for being a
Dylan
pedophile,
Baker basically
right?
molests
his son's
best friend.
Yeah.
And the son very much is like, did you do that? And he goes, yeah, I did, because he's like, I'm attracted to little boys.
Yeah.
And the son's like, would you ever do it to me? And he's like, no, I wouldn't do it to you.
You're my son.
But then he follows it up with a particular line that you just go, so I'm not going to say it. But
I really want to watch this movie. Like I've heard it's incredible.
It's incredible, but I understand why so many people were disturbed by it.
Yeah, totally.
It was funny. So many actors apparently, Todd Solondz apparently went to heaps of like quite big name actors for the role of Dylan Baker,
and they were just
they all turned it away because they were like, I don't want to be attached to this role. Dylan Baker took it, and they interviewed him later on and said, playing a pedophile, and he was like, didn't hurt my career at all. He's like, I've gone on and done a million fucking things. He's like, it's a role.
That's it. At the end of the day, it's a role.
It's like one of those things. I can't recommend it to everybody, but if you're a fan of confronting dark comedy and things that you like,
but it's well written.
It's well written. It's well acted. There's like nothing faulty about it. It's just not a pleasant subject matter.
Not an easy watch.
But that was the one movie that I've seen this year that I've never seen before that isn't a 2020. So it's the best one.
Nice. Mine is Xavier Dolan's Mummy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay.
I want to, though.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I
You did this for 1 Inch Barrier?
We did, yes. Yeah. So plug for that 1 Inch Barrier. Foreign film podcast I do with Kieran and Josh, and we did. This is actually technically the episode will be out by the time this comes out too.
Right,
so
okay.
you will be able to listen to it. But Mummy is a French Canadian film, so it's set in Canada, but it's spoken predominantly in French.
Yeah.
And Xavier Dolan, this was my first Xavier Dolan film too.
Yeah, okay.
But Mummy is for me a 5-star movie. It was fantastic, but again, confronting.
Yeah.
It's about a boy who has severe, and when I mean severe, I mean like severe ADHD, like behavioral problems that
is it like one of those? Is it like, or is it difficult to watch? Like
there are scenes that are difficult to watch.
Like, you know how some people like the Babadook, how they're like, I can't watch the scenes with the little kid. Be like, that's what that character is.
Yeah, but think about it, this guy's like 17 years old, so he's older now. And there are definitely scenes where you're like, oh, I'm very uncomfortable by this.
Yeah.
But it's less about his behavioral problems and his mental health problems, more so about the relationship with his mother, who sort of allows for certain things to happen.
Okay.
She's a bit of a fast and loose parenting style mum, which has landed him in trouble.
Bit of an enabler, sort of?
Sometimes, yeah. But an enabler out of fear of losing her son.
Right, okay.
In that sense. So it's this very dysfunctional relationship that is presented in actually a very glamorous way.
Okay.
It's, you love these characters despite the fact that they are not good for each other in a certain way.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this film and sort of where it leads to, there's an opening text in the film that says, this movie, I think the movie came out in 2014, so it's like in the most recent Canadian election, this is a fictional thing, a bill was passed where parents with children who have behavioral problems can take them to an institution, no questions asked. So it's and that's sort of hanging over your head the whole movie as well. That being like
that this is like her option if she needs to,
and obviously as the film goes on, things are escalating to a point where could this happen? So and it's a very heavily emotional film. And what Xavier Dolan does, the film's actually shot in a 1:1 ratio. So it's actually a square on your screen, and every shot is claustrophobic, close up as fuck. So you just can't
escape it. Yeah.
This is a slight spoiler for the film.
Okay.
And I will say it because I know you won't actually mind, but if you don't want to spoil it for mine for the next 30 seconds, skip ahead. But it also contains possibly one of my, I would say, top 5 camera shots of all time.
Wow.
And there's a montage to Oasis's Wonderwall where things in their life are actually going really well. The mum gets a job. The son's getting tutored and stuff.
Is it actually, like, it's actually going well? Like, it isn't some, like, where it's like, this is what could happen. Oh, okay.
Well, no, things are going well.
Yeah.
But it's very much highlighted like a fairy tale. Like
right.
And there's this beautiful shot that they're walking down the street with the groceries. He's running with the shopping cart full of trolley because they've been able to buy, like, a full trolley of groceries for the first time.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the mum's pushing it. He's on his skateboard. He's skateboarding, listening to Wonderwall.
Yeah.
And he looks at the camera and he goes with his hands like that, and the frame opens up to full screen, and like Wonderwall's blasting, and they're all having. It is one of my favorite camera shots.
Does the rest of the
time.
movie then play in that?
No, because then something
happens.
There's the montage of happiness, and then there's a knock at the door. The mum receives a letter about something, and it starts closing back in.
Wow!
So it's incredible filmmaking, but again, it's definitely not as confronting as Happiness thematically, but it is not an easy watch. Oh my God. And it was my first Xavier Dolan film, and I'm like, that it was incredible. Highly recommend Mummy.
Nice.
That shot. Oh my God. Like goosebumps. Just it's fucking great.
Cool.
Speaking of favorite scenes, I guess, what is your favorite scene from a movie of 2023 so far?
This one was hard because I was looking back and being like, fuck, there's been some fucking great movies.
There's been some great movies, and there's been some amazing scenes.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with when I read this question, the first thing that came to my mind is Hello College from Babylon.
Yeah. Was that yours?
No,
it's not mine, but it's an honorable mention.
God, that scene, like, it's so brilliant. It's like so funny. It's so like the way that it's shot. It's frantic. Like it's so anxiety inducing. For a scene that's like, we're just like shooting we're shooting a movie
Like
scene.
just stand on your mark.
But, the hot box.
Oh, man.
Stand on your mark.
I love
the
it.
fact that no one can make a noise because the sound's going to pick it up because they've got this brand new sound. And
That guy in the sound box is great too. Every time he comes out, he's like,
like,
everyone just shut the fuck up.
it's
so good.
Babylon is just a fucking great
It's a great movie. I totally understand why people don't like it because it is debaucherous.
Yeah, I get it.
Fuck, I loved every second of that movie.
And I remember we saw that scene and
our jaws were just dropped to the floor.
And then I remember afterwards when we were like talking to the reps and talking to other people,
Yeah.
we were all just like the Hello College thing. And the reason it's called the Hello College is because her character is Margot Robbie. Her character is like coming to college, and it's about her walking into her dorm room and
for the first time
and being like
small town girl in the big city.
And she sort of goes hello college and does this sort of big monologue and like.
But she misses marks.
She misses her mark. Yeah. And then when she does the scene that they go, this is great. She wasn't standing in the right way.
Yeah.
And,
it's just fantastic.
And look, there were so many scenes that I was like, fuck, that's a good scene, that's a good scene, that's a good scene. But it was the first thing that came to mind.
Totally.
So I'm just going to go with that.
God, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I do have an honorable mention.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily the most, like, in regards to, like, what happens in the scene is great, but, like, it's not, like, large scale like that or my pick.
Yeah.
But audiences will be able to see this soon. The opening scene of Talk to Me.
Yeah, that
came
to me.
Fucking brilliant. It's a one-shot take at a party. And let's just say when demons and knives get a hold of each other, shit happens.
And
but it is just perfect.
And we were fortunate to see a screener of this for Sundance. We watched this together.
Yeah.
And our friend Josh was with us.
Oh, man.
And
all three
of us had this visceral, audible reaction to a particular shot.
Oh, my God.
And it was something that came to my mind.
It was, it's just, and it's such a good way to open that film.
It's quick. Like you have no chance to like look away.
Nah. It's perfect.
It sets up.
And it's a tense scene. Like the build up to
the scene
it's
in itself
really
is tense. But it's almost like you're not expecting it to escalate as quickly as it does.
Yeah, totally.
It's so
brilliant.
Great. It's so great.
I got chills just thinking about it.
But so great. Oh, that movie also.
I cannot wait to see
July
that. 27th here. I cannot wait to see it in the cinemas. I cannot wait to see it in the cinemas.
I want to see that in a cinema and I want to hear that reaction.
That reaction would be fucking amazing. That was my honorable mention.
Yeah, okay.
It was hard to not pick this one. But what people have dubbed the Hotline Miami scene in John Wick Chapter 4.
Fair enough, yeah.
Where it is a string of one-shot takes where the camera is a bird's eye view on John Wick with a shotgun shooting flammable rounds.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw that scene in the cinema, I no joke, like my jaw was already dropped to the floor with so much of that, but I literally sat there. I watched it with Josh, good friend Josh. And I literally remember at one point, I kind of just grabbed his arm and I was like, oh my fucking God. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, it is a genuinely, in a movie that's already got incredible moments of action, to be able to do a shot that's like all bird's eye view, it looks like a video game, and still be like, how are they making all of this happen, right? Awesome. It's generally one of my favorite scenes. It is currently my favorite scene of the year. But there has been so many great scenes.
Oh, and another one that came to my mind was the whole ladder sequence in Scream 6.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a fantastic
the apartment scene,
the
ladder scene, that whole thing.
The ladder sequence is so fucking tense.
Scream 6 really knew how to work intensity.
Yeah.
That whole scene is just like fucking, it just doesn't end. But you also know, I know someone is going to die quite horrifically.
And while we're just talking about fun movies since 2023, like from an acting point of view, I just rewatched this recently. I love the scene between Matt Damon, Viola Davis in the backyard. That's just perfect acting for both those guys. Perfect acting.
100%.
So good.
When people talk about like, there's like no good movies out, there's worst year. It's not true.
It's not.
2023
has been good.
Has been incredible.
Has been very good.
And there's so many great things to come. And
more to come.
Yeah, and as I've said, like there are things that I've seen at the beginning of the year that will probably come out at the end of the year. One of them now, I'm not entirely sure because
tainted
because of what a certain actor did, but
yeah.
Whew.
We go eat. We go eat.
But there is never like there is never a year to me that is the worst year of movies because
fuck
there's
no.
always great things.
There's always great things. You just
and
gotta
this
look
year
for it.
is proof of that. Like
I agree.
Babylon, Air, John Wick 4, Scream 6, like they're all like fucking top tier movies. So
what is a film that you would love to see remade and one you don't want to see remade?
okay.
This is a great question.
So I was thinking about this because obviously, and I'm someone who I don't have an issue with remakes.
No?
Obviously, my answer for what shouldn't be remade, but generally,
Yeah. You're all right with
okay
that.
with
Yeah. Fair enough.
a movie that I think should be remade
Yes.
because we're in this era of obviously comic book movies.
Yeah.
And the original was not done particularly well. Flash Gordon.
Ooh. Oh, a modern day Flash Gordon would be so
Get a modern
fun.
day Flash Gordon out there.
Who would you have play Flash Gordon? Ryan Reynolds?
No.
No?
You know what?
Yeah.
He's already got a little bit of experience playing a comic book character, but I think I think he'd do it well. Stephen Amell.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He's got the football boy about him. He's got the quarterback.
He's
galactic
you know,
superhero.
he's not like super like young, but Flash Gordon was never young.
Sam Jones wasn't young in that movie.
Was
no.
not young at all. But I think Flash Gordon could be done really well.
That'd be a lot of fun. No, I see that. I think that'd be a lot
James
of fun.
Gunn's Flash Gordon.
Yeah. Fuck. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I went a little bit more traditional, and in
The amount of movies that I was like,
Oh,
could it
totally.
go? Yeah.
but this one actually popped up on a list. So like I was kind of looking at like, oh, what could get, and then I was like, oh no, this would be amazing. I would love to see a modern day adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird because I love the idea of doing it in the style of the story playing out and the trial playing out simultaneously. I feel like that'd be fucking cool.
They could definitely take a lot of influence from certain things that are happening in the world.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Like I think it would be you can make it as much of a cultural impact as it was when the book came out in the original.
Who would your lead character be played by?
I don't know because like it's tough because like Gregory Peck at the time is like, oh yeah, great actor. He's the Hollywood man at that point in time. But I would choose someone older. I would choose Kevin Costner.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like Kevin Costner would be fucking awesome
Yeah.
in the lead role.
Yeah.
I think he to me carries that like, and not Yellowstone Kevin Costner where he's like
gruff.
gruff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, but like,
but
you see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that'd be fucking cool. I think he'd be great.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
can
And
we
Paul
get-
Dano to play Boo Radley.
Yes.
Sorry to typecast you as like
no.
weird looking fella, but like
yeah, can we get Flash Gordon and
DH Paul Dano and we'll
get that going?
do that.
Thanks.
What about
Yes.
one that you wouldn't want remade?
This one was the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Singing in the Rain.
yeah.
not-
don't touch it.
Do not fucking touch it.
Sound of Music as well while we're at it. Don't touch
Yeah.
it. They're just
And Wizard of
classics.
Oz.
And Wizard of Oz. They're just classics.
Don't fucking touch Singing in the Rain.
Eh,
It's
plain and simple.
it's so fucking perfect.
the one I chose is because there was actually word that there was going to be a remake of it. And it's the first time I've got super defensive about something. I don't want there to be a remake of Memento.
They want to do a remake of
That
Memento.
years ago, they wanted to do a remake of Memento.
No.
Memento is perfect.
It's perfect.
It's a perfect movie, and you can't do that any better. When you look at something like, my first instinct goes to like RoboCop and the RoboCop remake. You can make RoboCop more action heavy. It doesn't make RoboCop better.
No. RoboCop was like, it's like Paul Verhoeven's
Verhoeven.
movie. They're all like social commentary.
They're all
movies and
satires.
satire.
They're all satires.
Like Starship Troopers, satire.
Yeah, RoboCop satire.
Total Recall.
Total Recall is a bit of a satire.
yeah.
Showgirls, I guess you could.
Well, Showgirls is kind of a remake of All About Eve. Because it's about the young ingenue coming in. Yeah.
That cheeky fella.
No.
No, don't touch
because
Memento.
also like
Because you don't make that concept better.
no.
Like
And
there's
I know
nothing you can do
yeah,
to make
and
that.
I know that there are a lot of like, foreign films that get remade into
Their native
English,
language,
and it's like they keep the twists. and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that sort of
totally,
stuff. Memento, you can't. As you say, you can't do anything with that, that
because
story.
the argument I was like coming up with arguments in my head was like murder mystery. I was like, yeah, Ryan Johnson's kind of king of the murder mystery at the moment.
Yeah.
But what he's done is he's added a lot more of a comedic element to it. You don't make something like Memento more comedic. You can't really make something like Memento more action packed.
No.
You can't add more drama to it. You can't add more tension and thrills to it.
Oh, no.
So don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
No.
Memento's fucking great. Don't do it.
No.
I'm glad we got that off our chest.
Yeah. Can you imagine if I was just like, oh, come on, Nick, it'll be so good.
It would be so much fun. And then Nolan remakes it himself. Oh, man. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little thirst break. I guess we'll call it. We've answered the genuine questions, and it's not to say these aren't genuine questions.
But these are also, these are a bit telling.
This is the thirst corner.
Yeah.
Welcome to the thirst corner. And the first question in the thirst corner, you're all welcome. Peter Gray, if you could have sex with any celebrity, who would it be? And what would it be like? Which was my favorite addition to the question ever. What would it be like?
If I could have sex, look.
I think we know.
This one was like, okay, there are two.
Orgies out of the question. Gangbangs out of the question.
There were three people that immediately came to mind.
Can I guess two of them?
Yes.
Momoa, The Rock.
Yeah. No, actually.
Really?
So Momoa, yes.
The Rock, no.
No, he wasn't one of the first three.
Oh, okay.
So it was Momoa.
Yep.
Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Aldous Hodge.
Oh, okay. No, Aldous Hodge makes sense. Yeah.
I had to go with my boy Momoa.
Yep.
And what I think it would be, you know what? And this words I used. Where was it? The two words I used. What I think it would be like.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic and fucking dirty.
That's what it would be like. Yeah.
It would be in
Roman Reigns throwing you around like you're a WWE wrestler.
Momoa, who I'm with.
Oh, I thought you were taking all three for a second there. But
I'm happy to take all three.
But Momoa would be the one.
Momoa,
he'd probably still throw you around a bit. Throw you on the back of his motorcycle.
You would do it in nature.
Would you say ride you like a Harley?
I'd ride him like a Harley, sure.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it would be in nature.
Did you see me having to compute that for a second?
I feel like it would be in nature. And it would just be like natural.
Would he have his current haircut where he's got like the Viking haircut, the tattoos on the side of his head? But like I can still
grab onto something.
Grab the ponytail.
It would just be, and it'd be fucking filthy.
Yeah.
But like in the best way. Roman, you'd be thrown around. I feel like Aldous, there'd be some passion to Aldous.
He seems like a lover.
But you'd still get hard.
Big dick energy, but he's a lover.
But Momoa, it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be
Momoa.
It's gotta be Momoa. Why do we go Nicolas Cage? Like,
I don't know.
It's gotta be Momoa.
Jason fucking Momoa. Yeah, it would be so, but you know what? And I'm also thinking of like, because he's just like a nice guy. I feel like afterwards you'd be sort of like taken care of.
He'd cuddle ya.
He'd fucking go and like kill a pig in the wild.
Make sure you eat well.
And cook it for you. So you get your energy up for fucking round two. Yeah.
Oh God.
And he's like, it'd be like a pink, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be fucking filthy and I'd love it. It'd be great.
Wow.
So, yes.
Long story short,
but nothing short about it.
Momoa.
In my mind, at least. So, yeah. What about you, Nick?
Well,
who would you want to have sex with and what would it be like?
I didn't want to double up on answers for questions that are coming down later in the thirst corner, right?
Fair.
But because I wanted to try and keep it fresh. Like, there's like, we'll get there.
Okay.
Part of me was like, I went your route where I was like, who's someone who would be wild?
Yeah.
But then who's someone would be loving? So I chose the wild answer, and it may shock you.
Ooh.
It may shock a lot of people.
Can you give me like a kind of like
remember this said any celebrity.
Any celebrity.
This is any celebrity.
Any celebrity. What field are they in?
Music.
So to say.
You're not going to get it. Because this is more of a, this to me is more of a, I can't say, it's more of a, it's not necessarily one I'd want to pursue, but the experience would be worth it.
Right.
So I'm not dying on the hill of having sex with this person.
Okay.
But it would be a great story.
Okay.
But there's other celebrities who I'd rather do it with.
Right. Okay.
But the experience is what's getting me over the line.
Of it. Dolly Parton.
Oh my god. No. Cardi B.
Oh, you'd have a fucking good time with her.
And it's just because of that one song. That WAP.
Yep.
The lyrics in that song that I've broken down extensively. No. But you listen, and I'm like, that song is just an every man's dream.
Yeah.
Every straight man's dream. So I would be like, that experience would be next level.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I'm like, I'm going to actively pursue. But if the opportunity ever, and I got a hall pass.
Right.
And it had to be with Cardi B, I'd take it. I'd take it.
Okay.
Just lay there and let it happen.
And you know what? She'd take it too.
Totally. And you know what? What would it be like? Quick. Very quick. But that's
wow. Yeah, I would not have guessed.
No one would have guessed that. No one would have guessed that.
Wow.
Which kind of brings me to our next one. Who's your celebrity crush? Who is the one person you have a big celebrity crush on?
I mean, I've kind of said people, haven't I? Who do I have a crush on that I'm not going to say Momoa because it's too obvious, even though I do love him. And I'm not going to say Roman Reigns because even though I do love him too. My current celebrity crush.
Yeah.
Who, you know what? And this is maybe it'll shock people. But it's only because I've seen their movie recently and I've watched a lot of interviews with them and I'm just like, you're the cutest fucking person. Halle Bailey.
Bless her. Nah, I love her.
She's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
So in The Little Mermaid, she's incredible. But I've just watched interviews with her and I'm like, she's funny. You are sunshine personified. Oh.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I get
and
that.
she's
I get
cute.
that.
And I was like, you know what? And it's like, I'm allowed to have a crush on a girl.
Yeah, God, absolutely.
Like, it's not even like a crush. It's just like, I just think she's so fucking cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I think I've said mine before. I'm going to give two though, because these two just constantly fight over me in my head, in my dreams. Florence Pugh. Yeah. Love Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
And Daisy Edgar Jones.
Yeah, okay.
Love Daisy Edgar Jones.
Are you excited for Twisters?
I'm very excited for Twisters.
I'm very excited for Twisters.
Very excited for Twisters. Glenn Powell.
Oh, Brandon
Pereira. Our best friend, by the way.
Our best friend. He's so
one of my favorite interviews.
Oh my God, he's so handsome.
He's very handsome. He's very funny. He's very charming. Love that guy. But yeah, Daisy Edgar Jones. Anna de Armas is in there as well.
I'm just having some things in my head.
You just go, this is like, do we need a second to...
I'm just like, maybe I'll have sex with him.
Do we pause the podcast for a second? Anyone need to go to the bathroom real quick?
Come back and I'm like...
Robe on, slid down the middle. And who was your childhood crush?
My childhood crush? I
didn't get mine.
My childhood crush. Okay. It's weird. So in some ways, my childhood crush was kind of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, right.
And in another way, and look, I know that this is going to be, I know that a lot of people don't like him now because of some of his political views.
Right.
But I have met him and he's incredibly lovely. So he's got nothing against gay people but when I was growing up, when I was like 10 years old and he was in a TV show, and I think everyone can agree he was probably one of the most handsome men ever on TV, Dean Cain. So, you see him in Lois and Clark and he is genuinely like one of the prettiest men.
Men alive,
and he's Superman, and as I said in our last Q&A, big arms, tiny nips.
The ratio is there.
And I had a crush.
It's a good ratio.
I had a crush on him. And I kind of had a crush on Terry Hatcher as well.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer, just because I was like enamored.
Yeah.
But Dean Cain. And then you know what? And this is another thing. Toni Perrin. I don't know if anybody knows who she is. No. She's a singer. She was on E Street. She was like kind of another one of like a Kylie. She released a bunch of music. I was obsessed with her.
Yeah.
So her too. But yeah, Dean Cain.
This is the big one.
He's so handsome. And he's a real, like, you know what? Yes, he supports Trump, whatever. He's a really, really nice guy.
Okay.
And I met him and he was really super, super sweet. So
nice.
Yeah.
I was in love with Hilary Duff as a child.
Yep.
Or Alison Stoner, who they're both in Cheated by the Dozen.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. I know her from Step Up too.
Oh God, yeah, of course. She was in a few of the Step Up movies. She came back for one of them.
She came back, yeah.
So that brings us to the joining question of these two. Who would you rather meet, your childhood celebrity crush or your current celebrity crush? Now, obviously, you've already kind of met Dean Cain.
But you know what? I won't choose Dean Cain because so it's between it would be between I guess
Halle Bailey
or Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one for
Childhood
you.
crush. Absolutely. Depending. It'd be a different question if we were talking about like Momoa or anybody.
Yeah, totally.
Even though, I mean, I have met Momoa.
The question was for celebrity crush. So.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and mine would be Florence Pugh.
Hundo.
I'd meet Pugh, 100%.
100%.
Because Pugh just seems like fun to talk to as well. She seems just like a really fun chick to hang out with.
Have a great time with Florence.
Totally.
Pew pew.
Thirst Corner continues.
Yeah.
Would you rather hook up with a fictional character from a book or an animated character? You did some research into this one.
I did do some research for this one because I was like, who do I want to... So this one, animated.
Yeah, okay.
And I had 3 people that immediately came to mind.
Wow.
But okay, this is...
3 animated characters.
Don't judge me, all right? We all have animated characters.
If you are good at drawing... Rule 34, these for Pete, and we'll we'll thank you later.
So my first one was Li Shang from Mulan.
Okay, no, totally.
Like that goes with everything that I'm into.
Yeah, no, I'll make a man out of you.
And also, great dude.
Yeah, awesome guy. Super sad when he dies in Mulan too.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that.
Sorry. To
Second one, too. And I don't know. Have you seen the animated Street Fighter 2 movie?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
So they made an animated Street Fighter 2 movie. It is fucking incredible.
Was there an animated Street Fighter 1? Or is this a sequel to Street Fighter 1?
It's weird. It's called Street Fighter 2.
But it's animated.
Yeah, okay. And it's like, obviously anime. Yeah. It's fucking incredible. It's violent, sexy. It's great. Vega from Street Fighter.
Okay. I'll have a
So type in animated Vega Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2.
VEGA. Vega. So he's got like the mask. It's not one of those ones.
It's not one, but it's similar to this.
It's similar to that.
Yeah, okay.
But in the movie,
right?
Because he's like blonde and he's fucking huge and he's really vain about his face.
Right.
I think it's just he's got like a really good body.
Yeah. Okay. No. Hey, fair.
Superficial. Fair. And the third one, which I think you'll really get a kick out, and this is because I think he'd be fucking great in bed.
It's Gru from the Minions.
I think he'd be fucking great in bed, and he'd probably have a massive cock.
Yeah.
Archer. Because to me,
no, totally.
Archer is almost just like a cartoon version of John Hamm.
100%. 100%. He's a big dick energy.
I want that Hamaconda.
It makes so much sense.
I think Archer would be great in bed.
Yeah, it fucking.
And I wouldn't have to. And afterwards, it'd be like, I'm ghosting you, mate. Because you're an asshole.
He's an absolute narcissist piece of shit.
But he'd give you a good Roger.
It'd be a good route, and he'd give you a smoke afterwards. Too.
He would. And I might be able to, and he'd be in like some amazing house.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, some exotic location somewhere.
So I did far too much research.
No. I appreciate that.
But I think if I had to choose one, I'm going Li Shang.
Yep. Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mine. So this probably I went animated characters too because I don't read a lot. Considering I have a podcast where every month I have to read a book.
But also, see, my thing when I was reading is like everything that I've read has probably become a movie anyway. Yeah. So it's almost just like, I'm just thinking of that character.
Totally.
The only one that I thought of was like 50 Shades.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Dornan was not who I envisioned.
Right. I like Dakota Johnson, so I could be like, fictional character. And this for me is more of an age appropriate from when I had a crush on this person. So I wouldn't hook up with them now, but 10-year-old Nick would have.
Okay.
And I had a massive crush on Kim Possible.
Oh.
Loved Kim Possible growing up. Loved Kim Possible. Was kind of like
so much more wholesome than
I was like, call me, beat me, Kim. But 10-year-old Nick would absolutely love to kiss Kim Possible.
Yeah, 10-year-old Nick would love to kiss her and tell her I like her. And I'm just like, I want Archer to fuck me in the asshole.
How wholesome's like that? I just haven't seen too many animated big titty girls, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't read enough books that have that sort of stuff in it. Like the only really predominant female character I remember in a book recently is Gone Girl. And I don't want to hook up with her.
No.
You end up with a slit throat that way.
Yeah.
Sore cock and a slit throat.
Yeah, and that's not fun.
That's not fun.
No one wants
well,
that.
not the second one. But that's our Thirst Corner. Thank you for playing in Thirst Corner.
Thanks for those.
We got a couple more questions to
Now
go.
everyone knows my secret.
Now everyone knows everything about me. This is an interesting question that came through, and I think it'd be an interesting discussion. How do you think the Australian film industry can expand in the future? I might just jump in first on this one. Because, so it's funny this question came up because when Elvis came out, which was shot here in Southeast Queensland, you did, and I also did have the opportunity to talk with the producer of the film, Skylar Weiss.
Yes.
Who works with Baz Luhrmann at Bazmark Productions. And I asked him about obviously having the premiere on the Gold Coast, filming in Southeast Queensland. You know, like, are you seeing the change? Oh, and I also brought up how Marvel during the pandemic days brought a lot of their productions over here. Mortal Kombat was filmed in South Australia, and Mortal Kombat 2 is getting filmed on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And he said it may be quiet now, but he said Southeast Queensland is truly becoming a hub. Bazmark have actually set up their head office location on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Village Roadshow studio lot is getting used to film so many movies at the moment. So I think Australia is the film industry going forward.
I think so, yeah.
I think we are the new... And there's been The Matrix was famously filmed here and whatnot. You know what I mean? Mission Impossible 2, famously filmed in Sydney.
And you obviously got Thor Ragnarok.
So it's
Inspector Gadget
2 on the Go-Between Bridge.
Yeah.
Great little throw shadow there.
Also it was like a Daybreakers.
Yeah, totally.
Ticket to Paradise.
And that's the thing, a lot of these movies are setting up home here. A lot of production companies are setting up home. So I think the future of the Australian film industry is Hollywood, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that can also open up the door to have more Australian films made here when we have the facilities to do it. How easy would it be to be like, okay, this company's put in, $100 million to make this film here, and we've got all this equipment here. Why not film this smaller budget $1 million Australian film under the same production company? Do a Blumhouse thing, but with Australian production companies.
Yeah.
So I think the future of film industry is coming to Australia, and I'm pretty excited about it.
The only thing that I sort of wanted to add to that was in terms of survival.
Yeah.
I think Australia, and for the most part, we're getting things kind of day and date.
Yep.
But I think
we're doing well on most fronts.
But the massive gaps is really hurting certain films.
Totally.
And it's hurting the industry. So I think just day and date is going to be where we keep money doesn't get lost because you have films going to VOD in the States before they're even in cinemas here.
Yep.
That means that movie doesn't get seen. That means less people going to the cinema. It makes sort of people look at it and go, no one's going to the cinema. Why are we making movies? Let's put everything on streaming. Stop putting shit on streaming. So I think I agree that Australia seems to be where Hollywood is using as its second home.
Yep.
Australian crews are traditionally have really great reps. In general, Australians, yes, we care that productions are here, but we also don't hound.
No, totally.
Celebrities can kind of just,
on that day and date thing as well, for those who don't really understand how it works or haven't thought about how it works.
Yeah.
Normally when a movie is not released day and date, it's genuinely because the studio is taking a bit of a gamble on it and they want to see how it performs in the United States before releasing it or before coming up with their release strategy in the international market.
Yeah.
There are movies that it's are still to come out in Europe that have come out in Australia and the US already. So it's kind of fucked and it's annoying. And you would hope that distributors can take a bit more of a gamble and whatnot. But
and and if it's not day and date, then 1 to 2 weeks max.
Yes, totally.
But we've seen it with Renfield.
Renfield,
Renfield
dead on arrival.
Was it's was released here and it already done its time in the box office in the States and was available to rent
on VOD
and VOD in America, which meant people that are savvy enough are going to torrent it.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a shame because it means less people will go see it.
Yeah.
and then they'll look at it and just go, well, no one's turning out to this particular kind of movie. Australia isn't going to horror movies, so they're not promoting original stuff. It's like, that's not what's happening here.
No,
So yeah,
not at all. But exciting times ahead.
yeah.
Peter Gray.
Nick LaBarrow.
What sort of music do you listen to?
Look, it shouldn't be any surprise because I am a fucking flaming mo that my music taste very much lies in the
Minogues.
pop, dance, R&B.
Yeah.
But I do like Latin reggaeton music.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I can jam to those songs.
Yeah.
That sounds like the whitest fucking
No, but it's what we do.
but yeah, but I mean, but right now, Dance the Night by Dua Lipa from the Barbie movie is on constant repeat, and Padam Padam by Kylie. It's there, what's playing, and it's pretty standard for a gay man to listen to that sort of stuff. I mean, I like to give all music a good go.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So there'll be, so it's not like I don't like rock music or I don't know what else, like jazz or country or whatever.
You like jazz?
But I listen to most things to at least know if I like a certain, I might like one song from,
Yeah, totally.
But
I get that.
overall, pop, dance, R&B, and Latin is kind of where most of my interests kind of converge. So,
very nice.
yeah. What about yourself?
I'm a hip hop man.
Yeah.
Which again is the widest thing for me to say. No, I
like the hippity hop.
I like to hip and I like to hop. No, I'm a big fan of controversially now, I guess, Kanye. I like Kanye's music a lot, but don't necessarily support the person.
Yeah. But see, that sort of thing where it's like I don't particularly like Kanye, but I can also be like,
got bangers.
But I was just like, Black Skinhead.
It's a banger.
Great song.
It's a banger.
To All the Lights. Incredible.
The whole Watch the Throne album with Jay-Z.
Incredible.
Love Lockdown. Love Lockdown.
Awesome.
But one of my favorite albums ever is the Jay-Z Linkin Park collaboration album. I think that's fantastic. I know everyone talks about Numb Encore. But Points of Authority and 99 Problems is that's a banger. That's an absolute banger. Awesome. Love Eminem, especially early Eminem. Not so much his latest few albums, but early Eminem. Big fan, 8 Mile Eminem.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. Kendrick Lamar. No. Pretty much anything that was on the Creed 1 or 2 soundtrack, which is great, a lot of Meek Mill as well. So love hip hop. And I think part of me is I get fired up by it. But because the reason I get fired up and the reason those songs go, as people say, so hard, right, is because that they're songs coming from a place most of the time of pain.
Yeah.
That's why. It's a lot of rappers, and especially black rappers, are talking about their pains of their how they've grown up or their communities and things like that. So I like turning that into good music as well is pretty. I know a lot of people country is famous for being oh, I don't have enough beer and my sister won't fuck me. That sort of not all country music is like that, but you know what I mean. But big fan of hip hop, and I don't mind 80s rock is also the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Yeah. It's hard not to be a fan of that. So that's me and music.
Nice.
Big question here, Pete. Big question maybe for one of us. Maybe not for the other person.
I actually want you to answer this one first.
I'll go first. Someone asked, what is our biggest fear?
Yeah. We're laughing just because we briefly sort of spoke about it and it seems like we're going in completely different directions.
So I'll go first. Pete, my biggest fear is roller coasters.
I'm not laughing at the fact that it's a roller coaster. It's just my answer is
I don't necessarily have a fear of heights,
right?
But I have a fear of falling from heights.
Yeah, no.
And a roller coaster facilitates that.
That's fair. Yeah.
I bless Rhiannon. My first ever roller coaster experience was about 10 or 11 years old on the Superman Escape here in Movie World.
Yeah, okay.
Right up the front. I was the front row.
Oh, fuck that.
And it was just traumatizing.
Yeah, no, fair.
Cut to 10, maybe 12 years later, early 20s, just started, not just actually, probably been dating Rhiannon for a few years now. Went with a group of friends. Was kind of I know I was scared, but I was no, I'm old enough to try and get over this fear now. Was even more scared shitless.
Right.
Sat right at the back this time.
Doesn't
grabbing Rhiannon's leg the whole time. She's like, you're going to be okay.
Same ride?
Same ride, Superman Escape. And was scared shitless, came off white as a ghost, shaking. Just can't do roller coasters. Hate them. Hate roller coasters.
Fair.
But after that, Pete, What's your biggest fear?
So I heard this and was like, oh, I'm going to get deep.
Real, yeah.
So my biggest fear, and I was like, oh, this is one of those things where it's like, oh, this is really going to tell. All right. So my biggest fear is like failing.
Yep.
And I like failing at this essentially.
Yeah.
And like not being in a position where I'm going to be able to survive and support myself when I'm older.
Yeah.
I sort of feel like I'll be working until I die.
Yeah.
Like retiring doesn't seem like something I'm going to be able to do.
Writing and reviewing and film criticism doesn't fill the super fund.
Yeah.
So to say. Or the 401k.
And it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I'm happy to obviously like work in another industry and keep doing this.
Which is what we do. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where you see people like, you know, you see your parents like retire and they have so much money and they are able to do everything. And I just look at it and go, I don't think I'll ever be able to buy a house.
It's tough.
And I don't think and I've put so much into this and I'm obviously getting
results out of it.
But it's still a while away from, you know.
There's only one thing tougher than chasing a dream.
Yeah.
And that's convincing other people that your dream is worth chasing.
Yeah. I've been very lucky that I've got supportive parents and supportive people in my life who go for it. But yeah, I hate, but I'd also hate to think that I'm doing all of this and it comes to nothing.
For nothing, yeah. And it's not just fear of failing yourself, but failing other people as well.
Yeah, the people that have...
There's a lot of pressure that comes from...
people that are like, well, we've stood by you while you do this, and now it's like...
And it's tough. It's tough because you feel guilty.
Yeah.
You feel guilty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like chasing a high. It feels good. It feels good doing this shit and doing what we love. So, but we gotta... If you've ever watched a podcast... and our eyes are like this.
It's because we've probably been up for like 14,000 hours.
Because you just got to do the work.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough convincing other people
I
that
also
it's worth
don't,
it.
As we've spoken about this, where people, I don't know if people really get how hard it is to do what we do. Like I know when people are just like, oh, you just watch movies. It's like, it's more than that.
It is. It totally
and also
is.
I think because Nick and I put in so much work, that there are so many things that we do outside of screenings and outside of our own work that take away from doing other things, but we love it.
No, totally.
I don't like when people think that critics have it easy in terms of, oh, you watch a movie and that's it. You're like, it's not it.
No. And
we're not, and our reviews, we're not just like doing some copy paste shit of like, this is the synopsis and we don't
plot right.
Yeah.
We're not plot reviewers.
And I'm speaking from someone who literally copies and pastes the synopsis and then adds one sentence of what they thought.
Yeah. That's
not a fucking review. So we actually
write reviews. When we do recite plot, we recite it in a way that is like in our writing, is it in our language?
Our reviews are never just like telling you what happens from A to B.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, that's my fear. But roller coasters are cool too.
Roller coasters are fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hard work that we put in, what is the review you've written that you're most proud of?
So I was thinking of this, and there were a couple that I sort of have read back and gone, it's a good review.
Happy with that, yeah.
But I think the one, again, I have to go with what came to mind first. And this was one, we saw this last year and in Sydney. And I think because it was a movie that...
I think I know what it is.
That spoke to me quite personally in a lot of ways. And I wrote the review and was really, really fucking happy with it. Fire Island.
Yes, I thought it might have been.
And obviously, look, I'm not saying I relate to Asian men and
the Asian gay experience,
like representation, which is fucking incredible that they have it in this film. But obviously,
Funny movie too. Really fucking funny movie.
Oh,
love that movie.
Hilarious movie. The fact that it was like Pride and Prejudice is incredible.
Pride and Prejudice, but make it gay and Asian.
But make it gay and Asian and
it's
put
great.
it on Fire Island and just have lots of sex and jokes. It's great.
It was great.
But
Great movie.
I took a lot of pride in in writing that review and coming at it from a very personal, like all of my reviews are personal. They're coming from my perspective.
Yep.
But this one in particular.
Yeah.
And I remember
Had your voice
and I actually
behind it,
remember sort of like at the end of it going, yeah, I'm actually allowed to be like really happy
with this
that.
review. Yep.
And I read it back and was like, yeah, I want people to read this because I'm really fucking happy with it. So that would be
Nice.
mine. Yeah.
Mine is, so I'd been writing, similar to you, I'd been writing reviews for a while before this, but I liked the movie a lot. The movie clicked with me in a way, but I remember writing the review and I remember when I was reading it back and I was kind of like, oh, I've really, it's where I first really found my writing voice. And that was for The King of Staten Island.
Yeah. Okay.
Love that movie.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that movie. I know
Yep.
a lot of people aren't necessarily, but I'm like a Judd Apatow apologist almost.
Yep.
But yeah, my review for King of Staten Island was, it's just one where I sort of found how the flow of my writing really, like that when it really came to fruition, and I really honed in on the things that I enjoy about film, and it's where I kind of was like able to talk about characters, actors, writing, directing, but how that all accumulates in story.
Yeah.
And I was very happy with that. And that is actually, whenever I have to, if we have to pitch for something, you know, if they're like, can you send a couple of articles?
Yeah.
I always send my King of Staten Island review. I'll send other ones that I'll be like, oh, this one, it's not my best performing review by far. Ironically, my best performing review is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
But hey, because not many people were reviewing it.
Yeah.
But I send that and I send King of Staten Island. And yeah, I'm really proud of that review. And I wrote that back in 2020. That movie
that was a pandemic.
It was a pandemic movie. So,
yeah.
And I just love that movie. I think that movie's great.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson, great dramatic actor. If you haven't watched Bupkis,
Oh my God.
it's so much fun. It's fucking wild, but
Yeah.
it's so much
It's
fun.
so much fun.
It's an unhinged.
It's kind of like a next step from King of Staten Island.
It is.
essentially.
And it's just a bit more wild.
Yeah.
It's less
a bit,
Apatow.
a bit more exaggerated.
A little more exaggerated. A little more Davidson, less Apatow.
Yeah.
This is the final question before we crack into the question we have for each other. This is our final listener question. So thank you all again for sending these in. And this is a nice question. This is a sweet
nice
question.
one.
This is a full circle back to sort of how we met.
How we met.
Pete, what is, for both of us, what is the achievement of the other person you are most proud of?
And I think it was probably covered in a lot of the shit we said at the beginning.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah.
But I'm at like where Nick, where you,
Where me? Talk to me like I'm not in the room.
Where you've gotten to in such a short period of time is like really incredible.
It's all about
And
who you know and how you kiss them.
And soft and tender.
I'll say this over again. I'm always awful at taking compliments, and I got called out from a friend of the podcast, Katie from For Your Reference podcast. Whenever she like goes, "That's a great review," I'm like, "Oh yeah," but she's like, "Take the fucking compliment." So I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
Yeah. So So I think where you've gotten to, and it's kind of like it fucking took me fucking forever to get there. So the fact that you got there so quickly is incredible.
Oh, well. I couldn't do it.
And I mean, and I've read Nick's stuff. Like you're a fucking great writer.
Oh, thank you.
And but yeah, like I think just the fact that like you're at this point where you're getting the intervieis, and like you're getting like you've been quoted like the Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead
quotes
stuff was cool.
really great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think it's just seeing you from where like obviously from you being like, help me, where do I go?
This DM slider to
DM slider. So like, yeah, I think it's just that period of time. And like you've overstepped like, you know, it's like where you've gotten to above people that have been doing it longer.
for a while. Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I just,
thank you.
You just, yeah. And there's as I said, there's a reason that I've actually clicked with you as well because you're a good person. So.
Well, you're a good person too.
Yeah.
I think I think we both hold each other accountable for a lot of stuff, which is fun.
Yeah.
Well, obviously mine is also review related as well, because that is pretty much our lives.
Yeah.
But we were becoming good friends around the time, and it was unfortunate that it didn't come through because of the pandemic. But obviously, when you got selected and were potentially going to South by Southwest in person.
Yeah.
And I know how much that meant to you. And I know how fucking the heart was ripped out of the chest when obviously due to COVID, you couldn't go.
Yeah.
And it was tough. And it was tough because
Nick was there for me.
I was there for that. And because I remember how excited you were and that. And it was funny because that was at the start of the pandemic when no one knew kind of what was going on.
When everyone was like, it'll be done by August. It'll be fine.
And then 2 years later, we still weren't. We were still wearing masks and we're still, and then even beyond that. So, but you obviously, it was upsetting, but you didn't let it get you down and you pumped through virtual festivals and all that. And then come last year and you got to go to TIFF. In person.
Yeah.
And you've done Brisbane Film Festival, you've done Melbourne, you've done Sydney, you've done in-person festivals. But watching you and your coverage at TIFF and hustling and grinding in a foreign country at a massive festival and then getting to talk to people like Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne. You know what I mean? The list goes on of people you were able to talk to.
I was also
red carpet premieres and stuff. Yeah. And I think that not only is that just exciting for you, but is a testament to the work you've put in from day one. I would say that. Thanks, I think that's the proudest, proud dads of each other.
Yeah.
Our own kids who are us.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing is that the proof is in the pudding.
I love it.
I know. I was like, don't say the joke. And it's one of those things where, you don't. Some people just go to TIFF.
Some people do just go to TIFF.
You know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, some people just go and
some people just go
and don't
do shit. But Pete went and he fucking killed it. It's to the point where people were referring you to as, oh, you're the Australian guy.
Yeah, I was.
And then they learned, there's people who never met.
I'd never met anybody.
Oh, we heard about you at this red, the people on this red carpet told us about you
that was quite nice to know that people were like, hey, this nice Australian guy. And that's what got me Tilda Swinton as well.
This is not necessarily an achievement, but it's just something about you that I think is a very great personality trait and just a good thing about you. Is you always come back from those things and be like, oh yeah, and I met this person and we just spent the whole time together. Like your ability to just click with someone and be like,
I made festival buddies.
Festival buddies at TIFF who you still talk to, who are still and when you went to Tasmania, that festival, you just meet people doing the same thing and you're not afraid to be like, hey, I'm here doing this as well. And then, bam, friends. You know what I mean? So I think that's a testament to your personality.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
Enough gushy shit.
Yeah, right.
Let's bring it back.
Gushy.
So we did this.
Gushy.
Gushy. Yuck,
for her
yuck.
amniotic sac.
I haven't seen that movie in so fucking long. Oh my God.
Rat race.
If
you're not sure why I've just mentioned that horrible word.
Cuba Gooding Jr. in that movie, man. Fuck. Her vagina.
Have you seen this room? Yes, we're in it. Good
I want to get in a hot tub full of Pepto-Bismol and roll around in it. Fuck. All right. Anyway, so we did this last year for the 2022 recap, and we thought it was a lot of fun. But we prepped a question for each other that we haven't shown to each other yet.
Yes.
Would you like to ask yours first? Would you like me to ask mine first?
Gentlemen first.
Gentlemen first.
I was about to be like, ladies first. And I was like, please.
I prepped three questions.
You sneaky fuck.
I'm a sneaky little fuck.
I like that. That's cool.
I had 3 questions ready to go and I didn't know which one I wanted to pick.
I'll just ask all 3. It's fine.
Okay, we'll ask all 3. Okay. What movie has had the greatest emotional impact on you? When you walked out of the theater and it's not necessarily like in tears or laughing, but like you just walked out and it's just stayed with you the longest.
Oh. Fuck.
Tough one, hey?
Yeah. You know, and this, I think purely from the perspective of I saw it and I felt, for lack of a better word, I felt seen.
Yeah, totally. I hope the camera caught that
right.
cross-eye. That was great.
And it's, again, I have to go with what's coming first
No,
because
totally,
I know that
yeah.
I've been alive for 20,000 years and I've seen so many films. But coming out of Bros,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, totally.
because it was a case of that movie, like that movie was so much more important than I think some people realize.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
it was
totally.
like a studio movie. Every actor was a queer actor.
Yeah, mainstream LGBTQIA+.
So,
film, yeah.
and I think it was just like, I saw myself in a lot of those characters.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of that and being like, I really want this to change things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be
Nice.
just
That would be
the fact that it's like gay men don't always get their stories told in a realistic way, even though it's an entertaining movie. They exaggerate, they heighten a lot of situations.
Well, it's a romantic comedy at the end of the day. It's like
You
it's not completely grounded in reality.
But there were a lot of things that I was like, oof, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be yeah. What about you?
Oh God, I wasn't expecting this to get thrown back on me. No, I genuinely wasn't.
Okay,
I genuinely wasn't. I was like,
okay.
I was like, these are my questions for you, motherfucker. First one that clicked into my head that sort of stayed with me the longest, most recently, has been After Sun.
Yeah.
I think it emotionally
Oof.
impacted me pretty heavily for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if I can't think of another one, it would have to be
that's
no. It'd be After Sun. Yeah, for reasons.
For reasons.
What was the first film you ever reviewed?
Okay. So the first film I ever professionally reviewed was Inception.
Oh, fuck, that's a good way to start. Holy shit.
News,
Yeah.
and the review was 100 words.
Oh, wow.
Try reviewing Inception in
100 words.
Really
Christopher Nolan directed, Leonardo DiCaprio starring.
really fucking hard.
Sci-fi.
So that was the first film.
Was that just like a thing that they were like quick, short, snappy reviews?
So they initially just wanted really short reviews.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
That's
harder than writing a 1,000-word review. Yeah.
So that, but when Mum was clearing out a bunch of stuff because she was moving house, and she brought out all of this stuff from when I was little, and she was showing me. She was like, "You have wanted to write movie reviews for clearly since you were a little kid."
Oh, that's awesome.
So, 1993. So I would have been 9 or 10. I would have been 8 turning 9.
Yeah. You don't want to know how old I
was. 93 or 94, one of them, either way. And she showed me, I wrote a review of Hocus Pocus.
Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing.
For clearly no reason.
No.
Just me wanting to write a review. And I read it. And also I read it and I was like, I'm a fucking good writer from when I was little. I was like, I was using.
Do you still have it or does your mum still have it?
I think Mum still has it.
That's going to make its way onto
actually,
the
maybe
podcast one day.
Like, oh, this is,
That's adorable.
I don't think I'm pretty sure I didn't throw it out. I'm pretty sure that was
handwritten.
Handwritten.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's technically my first review.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. And the last question that I prepared for you. What is the movie that made you fall in love with movies?
Oh, okay.
So it might not be Batman Returns, might not be your favorite, but what's the movie when you watched it and you were like, holy shit, I love film? It might be Batman Returns.
Well, no, I think Batman Returns Batman Returns did make me love movies and obviously everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing A Time to Kill when I was like 10.
Yeah, great fucking movie. Tough for a 10-year-old, but fucking great movie.
That was when I remember like I saw that movie on my own.
Yeah, right. Okay,
like it was like Mum and I went to the movies and Mum went and saw something and I went and saw A Time to Kill.
Shit, yeah, right, okay.
So it's a case.
Do you remember what your mum watched by any
I
chance?
can't remember what she watched. But I just remember it was a case of like Mum was like, you asked to see this film.
Totally, yeah.
And it was a case of it was like you clearly wanted to see this film. And I remember watching it and quite vividly remember
what was happening.
And it was just like for some reason that just clicked with me. The ending when McConaughey is giving his massive speech and then he basically turns around talking about the little black girl being raped. Like I was aware of
what was
everything
happening.
was happening.
Yeah.
And he sort of turns around. He's just like, now imagine if she was white. And the fact that just like, it was just one of those movies that I remember watching and kind of being like, I've taken so much in and yet I'm not disturbed by like, and I think that might sound weird that I'm not disturbed by a story like that.
No,
but
totally,
it was a case of, it was like, I definitely at that point was like, I'm watching movies for the sake of watching. Yeah, like not for the sake of watching, for like the
art form that it is. Totally.
So, and like Batman Returns, Death Becomes Her, and A Time to Kill are sort of these three sort of early memories of movies that, I mean, Mum took me to Batman Returns and Death Becomes Her. I then saw Death Becomes Her on my own, like four more times.
Wow.
I was like obsessed with that film. For some reason, they were letting a little kid go to it by
different
itself.
time,
Anyway,
different time, the 90s.
different time period. But yeah, so I think those would be the movies that actually made me just go, you love watching stories and how that can be.
Not just mindless entertainment.
And then sort of,
which there's always room for mindless entertainment. We love it.
But then like knowing, like remembering lines of dialogue and like going, I'm so interested in that actor, that actor. And fuck.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you?
Star Wars, A New Hope.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair.
Yeah, that whole original trilogy though. Like I watched it on repeat as a child. I just loved it every time. It was my nan had recorded them from television. Yeah. So I remember distinctly the ads. I remember Qantas ads. I remember champagne ads. All for those, and I wore those tapes then. So yeah, Star Wars. Departed was where I was like, I was at an age where I was like, oh yeah, like I fucking love the art form of film, but I always loved movies from like 5, 6, 7 because of Star Wars, and like genuinely, like movie watching memories for me were Shrek, Spy Kids 3D. Like I was at the appropriate age for Spy Kids 3D.
I mean, I saw Spy Kids 3D in the cinema.
I was 9 years old when Spy Kids 3D came out.
9 years old.
And Wheeling Up the Last Samurai. It was one of those movies I just watched it with my dad. Watched it way too young, but like
Last Samurai.
Yeah, right. Like, and you know, I know people don't love it, but there's a reason I still own it today and love it. So, very formative for me.
Yeah.
But that was my 1-3 questions.
Question. So mine. And maybe it'll now be one of these answers. But, or maybe it won't be. If there was any movie that you could watch again for the very first time, what would it be?
Fuck. Like, I hate this. Like, it's a great question. No, it's a great question, but like, I hate having to, because to me, it goes into like what movies I've loved because of rewatches.
Yeah.
And what movies that I want to experience that for the first time again.
Yeah.
I would love for the very first time. This is okay. I might go a little bit left field, a little bit of an interesting one. I would love to see 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time again, but the caveat is I'd have to see it in cinemas in the 1960s.
Yeah, okay.
That would be I would be like, that would just be awe-inspiring to be like, holy shit, like that this is possible to make.
Yeah.
In that regard. It's a great movie. Like I love it, but that just like the sheer scale of that film, because like my first thought went to Star Wars. Like I'd love to watch Star Wars. But I was like, no, Star Wars has gotten better and better over time. So I don't want to lose that. Yeah. Whereas 2001, I'm like, once you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a rewatchable film.
Yeah.
But I think seeing that for the first time in cinemas, I was lucky enough years ago, and I think they do it sporadically since Palace showed a they showed a 70 millimeter print of it. And it was, even though it wasn't framed correctly on the screen, it still looked stunning though. You're watching, I was like, this looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be, what about you?
So I like initially was like, oh, you know what? And it's probably the most cliched answer because I was like, I'd love to, because the original Scream is the one Scream that I've never seen in cinemas. I'd love to, again, I'd love to see that in the cinemas.
Yeah.
Like for the first time because I remember being like the Drew Barrymore is just the biggest shock.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I also, as a kid, and it was like when you mentioned your Nana, I was like, we'd watch like a lot of like old school like Hollywood musicals.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and I remember seeing a lot of them. So there's a part of me that would love to watch The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
For the very first time.
Seeing that go from that sepia, black and white to,
I was like that Calamity Jane, Singing in the Rain, and On the Town were like these 4 musicals that would just be watched on repeat.
God, that's so
good.
As
a kid on VHS in her dedicated movie room, which is fucking incredible.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it would just be really incredible to watch that like for the first time and not have because I sort of don't remember seeing it for the first time. It was just one of those movies that I've just always known about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to be old enough to maybe the same as you, like to be of an age in the 1930s and see
that for the first
and
time.
And be like, see it go from black and white to color would be incredible.
Agreed.
Yeah.
How fucking good are movies?
They're so good.
God, movies are great.
They're so good.
And do you know what was a great reminder of how good movies are?
Babylon.
I love that. Babylon was a great reminder of how fucking great movies are.
Yeah.
How shit Hollywood is, but how great movies are.
Yeah.
Well, that's another Q&A done and dusted. Thank you all so much for your questions. What a fun fucking episode.
Under 2 hours too. Who'd have thought?
That's very unlike us.
Yeah.
We are king wafflers is what we are. King blue wafflers. Don't Google that. But yes, look, thank you obviously all for your questions. This is a lot of fun for us to do, and we appreciate your support outside of the Q&A episodes, just for our normal monthly episodes.
Also, don't use any of this information against us in any way.
No, this is completely just between you and us. Don't blackmail us with the fact that I want to...
The amount of people that send me Momoa stuff anyway, I'm all for it.
In saying
that's
that,
fine.
I don't need Cardi B stuff sent to me.
No, that's fine.
I'm happy to keep that.
And I don't need...
Happy to keep that a fantasy.
I don't know what I don't need. I know I'm actually pretty okay.
You're all right?
If I get sent.
The complete level of stuff you're sending to Pete currently is fine.
But you can give me more.
that's
if it's...
But don't use it against him.
No. Like, don't be like, oh, who wants to fail? Pete does. Oh,
you'll get called out. You'll get embarrassed on the show.
Yeah, I'll actually.
And you don't want to get you don't want to get called out for bad reasons on this show.
No.
We are very, very vindictive.
And
people.
I have a pretty acid tongue when I need to.
Oh God,
so,
yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want me to be. You don't want
Pete spitting them.
Spitting them.
I was trying to think of S words.
I was going to say spitting them rhymes, but that's just me rapping.
That's just rapping. Pete's going to start doing diss raps for people who don't like. It's a new fucking podcast. That'd be amazing. Yeah. But again, thank you all for the questions. And obviously, thank you all for listening to the show.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
We're all
everywhere.
Good podcasts are found.
And if you're watching us on the YouTubes, hello.
Hello.
Love you all. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the video. We hope you've liked the new reel that we've put up from our last episode. There'll be a reel going up of fave moments.
Got to see the little photo of Nick.
I know, you actually got to. I know, I exposed myself to the world.
When I saw that, I was like, you look like Kyle Gallner.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but I will look at it now and see if I...
Look at that and then look at Kyle Gallner. Look at Kyle Gallner in like... Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
I reckon you'll see it.
I'm going to take it.
And you know what? Kyle Gallner?
I like Kyle Gallner.
He's great. He's great.
Nice guy too.
Nice guy.
Real nice guy on Twitter.
Really nice guy.
Horror
King.
Oh, yeah. Smile. Fuck.
Yeah.
And Scream.
And Jennifer's Body. And Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fuck. Yeah. Scream King.
But
that reel went up on our social medias, where can they find you on social media, Pete?
I'm glad you asked, Nicholas LeBarrow.
It's not in the script or contractually obligated.
It's not at all. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at rated You can find all of my interviews and reviews on the AU Review. By the time this episode is out, my interview with Sasha Calais from The Flash will probably be out. Probably.
Yep.
But if not, that's coming. As well as some other really great things. And Rotten Tomatoes, you can find me if you need to just listen to me. And
if you're sick of me,
listen to Nick. Where can they find you, Nick?
I doubt they're going to get sick of you, Pete, but it's very easy to get sick of me. God, I'm sick of me. Nick's
such a Jennifer Lawrence thing to say.
I know. I'm just an everyman. What can I say? No hard feelings.
Hey.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Which I'll be missing that screening on, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Oh, you've decided?
For that one, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We got controversy. Don't need to get into it. No. And it's self-inflicted controversy.
Yeah. I was like, this is
it's completely only me.
Entirely on you.
It's entirely on me.
Entirely on you.
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at nicksflicksfix.
I am on Letterboxd. I just need to be on there better.
It's so worth it. Once you get it,
I know.
Once you get into it, it's so worth it. Nicksflicksfix, all one word. Novastreamnetwork.com is where you can find my interviews and reviews, soon to be rebranded just to novastream.com.au, pardon me, which is incredibly exciting.
You are pardoned.
Thank you very much. But if you just type in Novastream Nick Labarra, you'll find me.
And that's all you should type in.
If you are very intrigued, it would have already come out by this point. All my Succession recaps, which have been killing it on the site. Very happy with that. But you'll be able to see my full season recaps of every episode of Succession. Woo. And interviews coming up. I don't have any.
There'll be stuff though.
There's stuff coming up, but nothing in the decent future. But obviously for Nova Stream Network and AU Review, be on the watch out, because once this episode's out, soon after, Pete and I will be in Sydney covering the Sydney Film Festival.
Yeah.
Asteroid City.
Elemental.
Late Night with the Devil.
How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Chevalier. Or Leia.
Reality.
Sisu. Past Lives.
Scrapper.
The New Boy.
And
that's it.
Is it?
That's it, I think.
Feels like there's more.
No, I just think we're seeing more. We're seeing Transformers the night before we leave. We got a nighttime screening of Transformers, and you're on a flight the next morning. But we will be covering a lot of great films from Sydney Film Festival that we're super excited to see.
Yeah.
But obviously on our social medias, keep an eye out, because we'll be posting our lads trip.
And also, by the time this episode comes out, we will have both submitted.
Oh yeah.
For a certain thing. Should we just
go on.
So we are both applying to me again, Nick for the first time, to go to the Toronto International Film Festival.
Oh boy.
So by the time this episode drops,
so much fun.
We would have submitted our applications, where you basically just like sell yourself and be like, this is why I should go. So that is our plan. We are hoping for an international lads trip to go.
Not to sound like an up and coming DJ, but big things are coming. No, I'm excited. I'm really excited to do it.
I feel like there's no reason that Nick shouldn't be.
Oh, well, thank you.
Granted.
That's very kind.
If we do go together,
lads trip.
That's going to be a great time.
Lads trip. And we've already talked about doing a podcast from Toronto.
If we can.
If we have time.
Capacity.
Yeah, if we have time.
Just on our phone.
We'll figure out a way to do it.
If not, we'll at least be doing sort of like live video reactions of like the stuff we see.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they haven't released any kind of...
but we've got a wish list.
We've got a wish list of things that could be
going there.
Either way, it'll be a really, really good time.
Totally.
And we hope that we both get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that'll be and then obviously when we do find out, you will all find out.
On our social medias and on this podcast,
because I imagine by the time August comes, we should know.
Hopefully we'll know.
We will know, because they tell you by the end of July.
There we go.
So the August podcast might have a little bit of a extra pep in our step, and we'll also know the schedule by then too.
With baby shaking. Oh shit! I said it. There we go. I said it. Throwback.
On that note, bye.